Good morning. Welcome to June 5th. I think it's the 5th. How are we doing? We're doing good? I think we're doing good. You know, we're kind of feeling awake. You know, we've got the fucking energy in our balls. No, alright. Excuse that one, okay? If you were disgusted or confused by that, just knock it off, okay? That was kind of a thing. So yeah, we're sitting here, lunchtime. I've got an onion roll with ham and cheese, of course. We've got the gallon jug. I think, honestly, I'm going to have a funeral for my Camelback. That thing is just like leaking water constantly, and it's sad for sure, but I think, personally, I'm going to do a little bit better with that. See, gallon jugs, it doesn't restrict you to... You have a 28-ounce bottle here, right? You fill it up, drink it, slowly, of course. Over the course of usually an hour or two for me, personally, but... Then you got this bad boy right here. You're just like... Doing that. That's how you kill the water right there. That's how you get it down in your system. Which is good. I like it. Alright, so what is the topic for today? There's many topics to always talk about. But you know what I'm feeling today? You know what I'm feeling today? I just beat Resident Evil 6, so I feel that it is fair to talk about that. Now, Resident Evil 6 has 4 campaigns, so I technically have beaten it already. It's just I finished the final campaign today. So you've got Leon, which everybody considers to be the best, because it's more, you fight zombies and just slower type enemies, and it just kind of, they try to scare you a couple times, you know. A lot of people think that's the original Resident Evil style of gameplay, which I admit it was probably the best one. They put a lot more work into that one. Then we had Jake's campaign, which very repetitive. I didn't really like it that much. Although I do like Sherry. I like Sherry. She's cool. She's a close runner-up for me in terms of Resident Evil female characters. Rebecca, though, she rocks the top always. And then you have Chris and Piers. Piers is like his second in command. Boy Scout, fanboy. I don't like Piers. It's actually really funny. Me and my brother were playing co-op in this game, and every time I was always playing the second character. So when you're playing Leon, I played Helena. When we played Sherry and Jake, I played Sherry. When we played Chris and Piers, I picked Chris because I don't like that guy. That guy, I don't like him. And then you have Ada's campaign, which I guess originally there wasn't co-op, but now there's co-op. So my brother played as Agent. He's just a generic soldier. It's a reskin version of Leon. So what's going on with Resident Evil 6? It's not a good Resident Evil game at all. No, it really isn't. Personally, I don't think it's. Maybe for $10 to $20 I'd buy it, but I'm not buying that thing above $20. No. It just, I don't know. You know, Resident Evil is more about a journey, I think, personally. You know, in Resident Evil 4, you start off in this village, very weak, very, very alone. And by the end of it, you're pushing your way through fucking, like, a lake and, like, a castle, and you get to a military island. You know, you're working your way across all these places. It's very cool. And your character gets more stronger and stronger and stronger. You start leveling up your weapons. You start getting more money. You know, he's leveling up. It's awesome. But then you have Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 5, I may have not liked it as much as Resident Evil 4, but it had the same formula. It's a journey. And you could still upgrade your weapons with and all that. I mean, it was easily exploitable. You could farm these liquors that would drop a lot of money, and you could just restart that checkpoint over and over and over. And soon you'd have every weapon maxed out. I mean, you kind of have to do that for achievements, which kind of sucks, but that's just how the game was made. Resident Evil 6, though, it's strictly just level-based. You pick up weapons as you go. You can't upgrade them. They do have a perk system, which is, I guess, their upgrade system. There's probably like 30 perks overall. Each one does something different. Some can be leveled up. So, like, I had the firearm perk at level 1, then I put experience points into it, leveled it up to 3. Then I had, like, the critical shot one up to level 3. Then I had the item drop one up to level 3. It's an okay system, but at the end of the day, though, there's so many useless perks in there that you're not going to use. In terms of, like, controls, like, does it feel like Resident Evil? No. I mean, some may look at that as a good thing. You know, Resident Evil 5 it still had the not the tanky controls, but it was you could still basically you had to like it was kind of weird the way you turned. You couldn't just like freely like back off it in the corners. You couldn't like back walk or anything, or diagonally walk, I should say. This game lets you completely 3D move around, which is pretty cool, but it still feels really clunky to me. Especially when you're trying to like get into a door. Like let's say you walk in the door, you miss it, so you try to like run around really fast. You can't just like quickly turn around. You've got to like run a circle before you can run that way. It's hard to explain, kind of, but it's not flawless, you know. But the story, I guess, makes up for it a little bit. It's a little bit better, but customers are staring at me. My normal customers. It's always weird. They always bring their kid in here at like 3 to 4 a.m. Which is a little weird. But I don't know. Alright. Music, of course, is typical Resident Evil. I don't care about it. Voice acting's good. Still good. Story, I haven't really touched on. Story, it's weird. You have a timeline. You have Ada's story starting up first, which I guess it takes place over the course of several months, like 8 months or something. So initially we have Ada's story, then a couple months later, during like Jake's story, when that starts up, they get kidnapped. So then that takes place 6 months later. Around that time is when Leon's campaign is starting, and then before Leon started, Chris was started, and they all pretty much, it all involves basically the research building where evil Ada, because there's 2 Adas now, spoiler, but we could find out who this Ada is. You learned pretty early that there's 2 different Adas, and if you didn't, you're stupid, because they have different outfits. So you have, like I said, the thingy-ma-ding there, you have the research place, and you have Leon's city area, the Tall Oaks or whatever, which only Leon goes there. And then you have China. And then you have the boat shooting a missile at China. And then after that you have the biolab or something like that. Another area. And every character pretty much goes to these areas, minus a couple ones. But the story itself is pretty basic. There's a new virus, the C virus. And it's basically a mix between the T-virus and the Lost Plagas or whatever. And I don't know. It wasn't... It's typical Resident Evil. Good guys versus bad guys. Bad guy in this game is actually... One, you've got the guy in the military. And then you've got the other guy, which is Ada's clone type thing. She's kind of like pushing the strings from behind all of this. So, I don't know. It's... it's nothing crazy. They obviously start a couple of story links and end a couple there. But, I mean, it's not really connected to the other Resident Evils. It's several years later. You can tell by their appearances that they're starting to get older, which is cool. But nothing really carried over. Like, we meet Wesker's son and we meet Sherry and stuff. It's all characters, but, like, none of the main bad guys return. Because there really aren't any more main bad guys. So, I don't know. It's a pretty weak story. Nothing really epic happens besides China getting bombed and hundreds of thousands of people die in this game, but I don't know. It's just an action game. It doesn't really feel like a mysterious like thing, you know. I think the best story out of all the Resident Evils is Outbreak. That was pretty fun. So if I was gonna give, I'm not individually rated. This is like a mini review. This isn't even like a review. It's just a little my thoughts on Resident Evil. It doesn't even warrant me going and recording footage. So, I'm giving Resident Evil 6 a 1.5 out of 3. I don't know. I don't know. There's just so much shit about this game that I didn't like. Like, apparently there's multiplayer mode, but you have to buy it? Like, why? I saw one of the multiplayer modes was like 700 points. I'm not paying that. That's like almost $8? $10? Yeah, almost $10. Fuck you. I ain't paying that. Just to play multiplayer. I think it's like Mercenaries Online or some shit. I'm not paying that. Yeah, that's my thoughts on Resident Evil 6. I think it sucked ass compared to Resident Evil 4, and still not as good as Resident Evil 5. So, if you like those ones, you might not like this one, but if you're a Resident Evil fan, you might like it. I don't know. Either way, it's not a good game. If you would think it is, fuck you. Alright, I'm gonna beep 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 boop.